Welcome this evening. We are so excited to have Hunter share everything about OpticAware. Without further ado, Hunter, go ahead and tell us all about OpticAware and how this may support a child or a student that you work with.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be able to address the Parent Connect community tonight. Um, I am the sibling of an individual with a visual impairment, so I grew up adjacent to the world that you currently occupy, although I'm not a blind or visually impaired mom myself. Um, I certainly enjoy having my sister. I'm also a current product manager for APH, and I have a Master of Arts in Teaching as well as a TVI license, in addition to 6 other teaching licenses. So I really am excited, so excited to share OpticAware with you. It's really going to be a product that changes a child's life and adult's life um, for the better in a way that shapes their future. And so let me just talk to you about some of the objectives for tonight. I'd like to help you understand eye pressing as well as some of the medical ramifications of eye pressing. I'd like for you to help understand the role that OpticAware plays in helping individuals become more aware of their eye pressing. And I'd also like to help you gain an understanding of how the bracelet is set up for initial use and how the participant data is tracked through the OpticAware app. So, um, the medical ramifications of eye pressing include retinal detachment, scratching and thinning of the cornea, infections, receding of the eye socket, as well as further impaired vision. It also can cause alarm to the individuals who care about and love the person who's eye pressing. The person who eye presses may experience feelings of shame surrounding their eye pressing. And so far, the solutions that we have to offer um, are all reliant on external input, like a parent or a teacher or a friend saying stop or hands or whatever the cue is there. So OpticAware is exciting uh, because it changes the scope of that. It allows all of that redirection to come from not another individual, but come from a device that's worn by the person. So OpticAware came about by a company called HabitAware. Um, HabitAware was developed um, by a really sweet man named Samir Kumar. And Samir's wife, Anila, had hair pulling or trichotillomania. And she concealed this from her husband for years of their marriage until one night he saw her without her makeup on. And she had gone to great lengths to always have, the perfect face, always have the full set of makeup on. And he realized that on this night, his wife had no eyebrows. And he thought, wow, what changed? And he very delicately, tenderly asked, honey, what's going on with your eyebrows? And he learned that his wife had a hair pulling problem. And so they developed their first product, which is called the Keen bracelet. Um, and it was programmed to vibrate when she would go to pull her hair or pull her eyebrows. And you can see that I'm wearing, for those of you with vision, you can see that I'm wearing bracelet on my wrist. This is the OpticAware. The Keen is almost identical to it. It is a black silicone band. I'm rotating my wrist slightly just so you can kind of see the front and back. Um, it has a silver piece in the middle, which is actually the device itself, and then the silicone band wraps around my wrist. It's a lot like an Apple Watch. So this was developed for hair pulling and quickly expanded to other behaviors like skin picking and what have you. Um, and then members of the blind and visually impaired community and parents of children with visual impairments who are dealing with eye pressing and who wanted to change that behavior started purchasing the bracelet, but it wasn't specifically calibrated for that. So we developed a partnership and were able to make this device together. Um, my computer just came out of the wall, so you're going to see me shimmy over and correct that. So my apologies, but I will keep talking as we go. Okay. So that describes HabitAware and Keen. And we're so excited that we now have OpticAware. There's been a lot of research that APH has done over time to help identify the needs of the field and possible solutions for eye pressing. And overall, we found that most people just really would like to um, change the behavior, but the existing solutions were ineffective in being able to curb it. So, in developing OpticAware to ensure that it specifically works for eye pressing, we, as a team at APH, obtained video and sensor data of users engaging in pressing behavior. So, we analyzed videos of children. And then we conducted an analysis to adapt the Keen, which was the original bracelet, the Keen's custom training process for eye pressing specifically. An algorithm was developed for eye pressing based on the optimization of true positive versus false positive data. And then OpticAware's firmware and app was developed so that it's functional and user friendly as well as accessible. It's also accessible. Currently, we are about to begin field testing so that we can be eligible for federal quota dollars, which is very, very exciting. So through that process, our field test will begin in late January, early February, and will last for 6 weeks. Um, if you are an individual who is interested in having your child be part of that field test, please email me. There will be a call for field testers. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. There will be a call for field testers, which is basically an accessible survey link that just asks you some basic questions to make sure that you're a good fit for the data that needs to be captured. And then I would love to connect with you and talk with you. Also, if you want to reach out, you have any questions about the device or what it does or doesn't do. So the user experience involves the bracelet as a tool to help you develop awareness of the eye pressing. So when a student eye presses, and some people press, more vertically with their fingertips pointing, and I'm just demonstrating eye press, fingertips pointing towards maybe noon on the clock face. Or some people have their elbow out and their fingertips, depending on which hand it is, either point to 3 or 9 o'clock. So we developed this tool to kind of alert the user through a gentle vibration, a soft hug on the wrist, whether the fingers are horizontal or completely vertical. When you open your bracelet for the first time, you will download an app and you're guided through a setup of the bracelet, and you customize your eye pressing gestures based on, your behavior. If you have a child who is old enough to download other apps and that's already an independent process, this will be an independent process. If that has not happened yet and you're still reliant, or your child is still reliant on adult support or peer help or what have you, then that would probably be the same for this app. So currently, the bracelet alerts the wearer with a gentle vibration if the hand moves to the eye area and stays there for 3 to 5 seconds. From all of the videos we analyze, we know that most people who eye press spend at least 3 to 5 seconds with their hand at their face. The vibration is discreet, it can be adjusted. So if it's too powerful or if a child can barely feel it, um, then that can be adjusted based on what is needed and what is tolerated. Um, the vibration is discreet. It gives the user a sense of autonomy to help become more aware of eye pressing. So one of the neat things about this I found is that it tracks data across days so that you can go back and look and say, oh my goodness, little Timmy has the most eye pressing incidences on, Tuesdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. What is going on? And then you find that, there's eye pressing when he's really hungry after school or whatever the issue is. But the app's tracked data can be really, really helpful. Um, OpticAware is all about bringing a positive approach to awareness by bringing empowerment to the user, building some self awareness, reducing medical complications, reducing social anxiety, and increasing self esteem. I love to think that this might potentially be able to help someone reduce the frequency of eye infections or um, perhaps prevent someone from needing to have a prosthesis put in place because of less damage with less pressing over time. And while this is not a medical device, it's actually more behavior mod than anything else. It doesn't stop anything. It cannot eliminate anything. It just vibrates and tracks data. But um, I think it's a really powerful tool in developing um, an individualized approach to awareness. So I know that was kind of fast. I would like to open it up to questions if that's okay with you, Melissa.
Absolutely. I will head back up. So a couple of questions, and I'll try to keep them generic so we don't have any um, information regarding the person. So this is an elementary age student who is pressing and poking. It's a long time battle. The child is also nonverbal. So I guess my interpretation of the question is the thoughts and the consideration for a child who might be nonverbal as well.
Right. In our field test, we plan for lots of children to have lots of additional disabilities, and that is absolutely okay. It is important that the child is old enough and has the cognitive ability to make the connection mentally between I am pressing and this thing that I'm wearing is vibrating because it wants me to stop. So if you have an understanding of cause and effect, then this could be something that could be for you. And I think for the field test, we're looking at a bottom age range of 6. The upper age range is really who's still enrolled in a public school. And we know based on who's being served that that could be as old as 22. But it really depends on the individual child and if they're able to make that mental connection.
Awesome. And this maybe I'm gonna make a big guess, might be for the Keen bracelet. Are there other behaviors it can help with? This person has a child who will not raise his head even when we ask him, and we try lots of different ways to support that behavior and changing it.
So currently, I want to make kind of a distinction because there are different products and you can pursue, whichever one you need. So OpticAware is the one that's being developed in partnership with APH and the company called HabitAware. The OpticAware bracelet will only alert for eye pressing. It does only that if you have skin picking or another behavior like needing to raise your head during navigation or what have you, this is not a good fit for that. The original Keen is still available through HabitAware. They have a website, habitaware.com. And that does alert for a wider range of behaviors. Thank you for putting that in the chat as well. It would be worth reaching out to their support team to see about the head because currently it's a bracelet. I'm going to hold up my wrist again. It's a bracelet. So if the head needs to be picked up, I'm not sure how, would could you put the sensor in a headband? Could you even calibrate the device for that? I have not heard of that particular behavior being able to be tracked or alerted for, but I don't want to tell you no. I think they would have further information on that. So, but definitely reach out to me if you need additional help and cannot find the answer.
Sorry, I was just ready to copy and paste your email again. Will the device work if eye pressing is done with a closed fist against the corner of the eye?
I think so because if I close my fist and I'm just going to go up here in the corner and kind of use the corner of my thumb, and I don't know if this is how that individual eye presses or not, or if it's with the right hand or left, but with a repetitive motion, the bracelet will tend to alert for that. So I'm going to say yes. Even if I keep my fingers closed, this will alert with me doing this. So I believe so.
So I'm gonna interject. So I guess I'm trying to figure this out as well as, when you download the app and this, that, and the other, are you calibrating it with your child or your student that, you put the bracelet on and what exactly their eye pressing that movement is before the app is kind of, I don't want to say live, but does that make
Yes,
sense? My
exactly.
question?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And that's a great question. You kind of train it to detect the behavior that you tend to do. Most people who press a certain way over and over and over again. They press with an open hand or a closed hand or um always with their right or always with their left. And I saw one question pop up that I'd like to address about if we press with both hands, can we get two bracelets? Yes, that's fine. You can have two bracelets in the app. You would just name them like right hand and left hand, and then always make sure that the left hand one is on the child's left, and then the right hand one is always on the child's right. But yes, that is possible as well.
Great question. And I think the only one was just kind of again addressing the child that was nonverbal, and they are able to tap his shoulder or his hand, and he will put his hand down and stop pressing. So with that information, um, would that be a good child to field test?
If they have an understanding of cause and effect that can be broadened beyond the tapping gesture, like probably their mother, father, other family figure person who spends a lot of time with them, teacher, has a good idea of if their sense of cause and effect is broader than being tapped on the shoulder, if they can make an association between the vibration of the bracelet and knowing, oh, I'm eye pressing, I should not do that, then they're a great candidate for field testing. So that's really encouraging if they respond to um, cause and effect scenarios.
Great. Another question is asking about the success of the device, and will reduced behavior continue after device is taken away?
So, okay, the first one was remind me what the first question
That's okay.
on
Yep.
that.
Have you already seen success with the device?
Yes. Okay. So the reason why we at APH were kind of alerted of HabitAware's existence was because people were already buying the original Keen bracelet for eye pressing and experiencing positive results. We then went back to the drawing board and thought, what improvements can be made if we wanted to specifically use this device to help make users more aware of their eye pressing behavior. And then with regards to, can I just kind of like graduate from the bracelet and never go back? It's one of those things like if you stop counting your Weight Watchers points, how well is that going to do for you? I mean, you might still have some of your um, behaviors in place where you've, identified, oh, he eye presses, on Tuesdays from 3 to 6 when he's hungry. Let's make sure we get a snack in at that time. And then you notice pressing less. But if someone, excuse me, if someone completely abandons the bracelet, then they're likely to see diminished results than if they had kept wearing the bracelet over time. So we don't mean forever. We just don't want someone to field test for 6 weeks and think that they graduated and expect for everything to kind of have resolved itself and to build the behaviors that they need to replace what the eye pressing gave to them.
And I think that's huge, just replacing the behavior. And like you said, I think the data tracking for parents and, again, staff, that's allowing them to, all be aware of what's going on, maybe some stressors, some other things, and what can we put in place as an alternative. Um, no, that was a great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm not at this point, I'm not seeing any other questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? Um, I know you mentioned kind of that 6 to 22 age range. Um, I'm just trying to think of some other things. Um, we got another question. Perfect. If we have a child that is younger than 6 years old but understands cause and effect, would they be, I'm going to assume, eligible for field testing?
I would say a bright 5 year old who really gets it would be fine for the field test. We just don't want to go so young that they don't have a firm understanding of the link between the bracelet and the eye pressing, which is really the key to success here. Also, I wanted to highlight this is not waterproof, so that's a good thing for parents to know. It can be ruined. It's pretty durable, it's encased in silicone. I can bump my wrist, against the table pretty forcefully, and I will not knock out the mechanical component um, which houses the data until it meets up with the device that it's paired to again, and the data uploads. But I can ruin it. So it's always a good idea to, take it off if you're, hand washing and things like that.
Okay, and I knew what I was going to ask was obviously even a 5-year-old and a 22-year-old, can you adjust um, the bracelet size? Like
Yes.
I'm asking some techie questions now, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can adjust the bracelet size. There also are different sizes of the silicone band. The field testing is going to be great in terms of giving us more data about, does the average child need this to be a little looser, but it's also adjustable. I'm going to hold this up to the camera and see if I can show you. Oh, good. It's showing the
Yep.
adjustable grooves in the back, and then these two prongs, two silver prongs. I'm holding up the bracelet to show the two silver prongs that would go into the holes. So it's kind of like a highly adjustable watch band. And there's a little bit of give to it, but not too much because it is silicone.
Awesome. Okay, so the cost, if not bought with federal quota.
So we're trying to keep even the cash price low, and we're going to keep it under the Apple Watch. I don't have those figures cemented yet, but email me the person who's asking about the cash price, and I will make sure that you are the first person who knows the cash price as soon as it's released to the public.
Be careful what you say. You're going to have a bunch of people saying cash cost right now. Just kidding. I just put your email
Right.
in there again.
Right.
And the question is, how is it powered? Is it battery? Is it rechargeable?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. So it is rechargeable. It's not a battery. So in the box, when yours arrives to you, it comes with a USB charger. I'm just going to hold mine up. So when I'm ready to charge, I can, you know, plug this into a brick or, my computer or whatever. And then there's a charging port on the side. I just removed the silver and gray um I keep using the word mechanical part of the bracelet from its silicone housing part. And then I can plug in the end just like a phone charger, and it's pretty easy to charge.
it almost reminds me of one of those like junior fit fits.
It's a
That
lot like
that
the
yeah, piece pops
Mhm.
out. Um, and I will ask the next question if somebody's already thinking it, but how do you, I know you had kind of mentioned the data being
Mhm.
collected. Is it you plug that into your phone? How does the phone and the app receive all that information?
So really, you just have to be in physical proximity. I don't have to, take this off the charger. I'm not plugging things into other things. So, for example, you're thinking, well, how are you going to field test if I have a TBI? She comes for 2 hours a day, and then little Susie doesn't really see her. So, how does that work? Whenever they reunite, that data will automatically sync. So, it's not a problem.
So I'll ask another question regarding that. Is it something that if it's like a shared app, so if the TVI has it and the parent has
Mhm.
it, if like Susie comes home and it's bath time, so we take it off and we put it by mom's phone, and would that be possible? I guess I'm just trying to think of how everybody could access that data.
You're going to have to pick the person who is the owner of the app and the data. So, it's not
Okay.
like mom can have it and teacher can have it and just the device goes back and forth. For the field test, we'd probably like the devices to stay at school, because once we start transporting things back and forth, we all know how that goes. Like my kids can't even keep the folder can't even travel back and forth properly, from the book bag and get to home. So, oh, can I go ahead and
Yeah,
address the Android versus iOS
absolutely.
question as it pops up? Okay. Currently, for the field test, this is only iOS compatible. So, it's iPhone or iPad. It will work with an iPad, if you have one of those. But it's not Android compatible yet. When it launches, it will be.
Awesome. So I'll ask the question. You've mentioned field testing being about 6 weeks. What is that possible time frame before it's field testing, before it launches beyond?
Launch is exciting to talk about. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So thank you for bringing that up. Um, Independence Day will not only be Independence Day for the great nation. It will be Independence Day for everyone to enjoy OpticAware. So early July is the launch date. So yeah, you have the field test, late January, early February to early March, and then we basically go back and fine tune anything, take all of that user feedback and make sure that we make it the best possible product it can be to help kids. Um, and then we reconvene and launch after all of the tweaking is done. So, Independence Day, freedom for all.
You've got an audience that's marked it on their calendar.
Great, great. I can't wait. That's exciting.
Oh, it's so exciting. Hunter, I can't thank you enough. I know you feel like this 30 minutes went super fast. But I know it was super helpful and very informative, and hopefully those who joined us were able to gain lots of information and next steps, as well as your email inbox will now be full of lots of people who have many questions and want to be connected. So
You
thank
don't scare me.
there you
Not
go,
yet.
guys. Go ahead, email Hunter. So thank you so much for being here this evening. We really appreciate your time and your preparedness for this, Hunter. It's going to be an amazing product.
Thank you so much. Thank you, wonderful parents and APH colleagues. I've really, really enjoyed this, and I'm always here from you. So please reach out, and I appreciate your time and attention this evening.
Thank you.